This is a video that is a follow-up video to the last one that I made about why I have decided to stay single in retirement. My name is Barb and this is my intentional retired life. And I just want to start off by saying that these dates happened quite a number of years ago, but they did help shape some of the reason why I have decided to stay single in my retirement years. And I do want to also say that I do know a lot of people that have had wonderful success with online dating, that have met their match and have gotten married and are having wonderful lives. So I don't want this to come off as being, totally against online dating. This is not that. This is just my experience and what happened to me. So right off the bat, I had one gentleman tell me I looked like a librarian. And so whatever, because I wear glasses, I guess. Anyway, I didn't respond to that. I just let it go. People say hurtful things, and I don't understand why they do that, but whatever. It makes him feel bigger. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to give you 6 scenarios today of what happened to me. And right out of the gate, I got a scammer. I was in a very vulnerable situation. I had just come out of a relationship and had my heart broken. And I was a very vulnerable, naive person at the time. It really threw me at first. I really did believe this person was interested in me and was legit. And it took about a couple weeks probably. And there were some red flags, but I kind of pushed them down. You kind of push down those niggling thoughts about, is this person really legit? Anyway, eventually he did ask me for money. And that was it. And I called him out, told him he was a scammer, and he or she or whatever, got really angry and started calling me names and all sorts of things. And that was it. So anyway, that was number 1. Number 2, I had a coffee date with a gentleman, and he was very nice, actually. And I thought I could see this going to a second date, absolutely. He was a really nice guy. And I was kind of attracted to him or whatever, but he spent the whole time talking about his ex-girlfriend that he loved so much. And I thought, okay, I guess that's not going to go anywhere. So anyway, now number 3, this gentleman took me out for supper. I had to drive in to this restaurant. I lived at the time 45 minutes from the nearest large city, 45 minutes to the outskirts. And then I had to, drive another 15, 20 minutes to get into the, place where he wanted me to meet him. And anyway, so that's like an hour one way. I drove in, met this gentleman. He was not very personable, didn't smile, wasn't friendly, wasn't a very good conversationalist. And I thought, well, maybe he's shy, whatever. I didn't think much of it. But then when the waitress came to take our order, he ordered, not only did he order for me, but he ordered blackened cod. He ordered fish. He never asked me, do I like fish? He never asked me, are you allergic to fish? What if I was definitely allergic to fish? I mean, I would have paid for my own meal if I knew that he was going to order without even asking me whether I liked what he was ordering. And just to take it upon himself to think that he could order my meal without even asking me what I wanted, I was just absolutely shocked. Needless to say, that never went any further. I left that and I was just disgusted. And the blackened cod, just to let you know, it was horrible. It was dry. It was gross. And so, like, steak would have been nice. Maybe if that's too expensive, maybe a hamburger. Anyway, that was the weirdest thing I've ever experienced in my life. Then there was a gentleman who took me out to a rib place, and that was very nice. But there again, I had to drive in to the rib place. These guys never, ever came to me. I had to drive to them. Like, why couldn't they come to where I was? We had a nice restaurant in the town where I lived, a really nice place, made the best pizza in Canada. And yet, no, I always had to get in my vehicle and drive to them. So I met him at this rib place, and he proceeded to eat his ribs. He had rib sauce all over his face. It was dripping down onto his shirt. He wasn't even trying to wipe it off. And like, I'm not a picky person. I'm really not. Like, I don't care if a guy is bald, if he's got hair. I don't care if he's tall or short or slim or has a few extra pounds. That is not that's not a deal breaker for me. I don't have to have some guy that looks like he just stepped out of a magazine. That I want somebody who's funny, somebody who is a good conversationalist, who maybe has some passions or interests or hobbies or things that is a bit engaging. Like, anyway, all he talked about was the fact that he wanted a dream home. I guess I was supposed to be impressed with his dream home, even though he had barbecue sauce all over his face. I don't know. I just was not having any luck at all with these online dates. And I did not just try one online dating service. I tried about 3 or 4 different ones. And after the scammer, I had decided, you know what, I'm not going to go and engage with anybody unless they actually live where I live, close to where I live. So, these 5 of these 6 guys all lived right around where I live, even though I was always the one that was doing the driving. I mean, they're people, but show up. I've gone to a lot of trouble to make myself look nice. I put on makeup. I'm wearing some nice clothes because that's kind of expected from the woman, to show up looking good. And then the guy shows up and he's wearing some ripped up old t-shirt with stains all over it. And he's got barbecue sauce hanging off his face. I've said before in my other videos, I love men. I'm not a man hater, but I just, you go to a lot of trouble to connect and to meet and to drive and to look good. And you kind of expect that the other person is going to put a little bit of effort in. I don't know. Anyway, number 5. Oh, yes, this one. Okay, so along with the fact that I want a man to show up just clean and looking like he cares about the date, this guy, he posted an old photo of himself, and it must have been 20 years old. And I don't even remember if at the time I thought to myself, that's an old photo, but I thought, he looks like a nice guy, and I think I could meet him for coffee. And there was a real bonus because by this time I had moved to a small city. Anyway, he actually lives in this city. So I thought, oh, bonus, he actually lives where I live. So anyway, I met up with him. Well, he did not look anything like his photo. Not only did he not look like his photo, he had no teeth. So he had teeth in the photo, but no teeth in real life. Teeth are a kind of an important thing to me. I want you to be clean, and I want you to have teeth. Those are, that's the only criteria I've got. And they don't have to be perfect teeth. They don't have to even be straight, but clean is good. And to be there is also good. And anyway, okay, last one. I saved the best, or maybe I should say the worst, for the last one. The last one was a gentleman who he wanted me again to meet him in this big city. I drove an hour because I had to go into the heart of the city in order to meet with him. And I met him at the restaurant that he wanted to go to. Well, I was supposed to meet him at the restaurant he wanted to go to. So I got there, and the waiter, waitress or server or whatever asked me if I wanted to go and sit in the restaurant and wait. And I said, no, I would just sit in the foyer or whatever and wait for him. And I sat there and I sat there and I sat there. And probably 45 minutes later, the servers were looking at me like they were feeling sorry for me. And, probably in the back kitchen or area, they were saying, oh, that poor woman, this guy's not going to show up. And he didn't show up. Finally, one of the servers came and said to me, would you like to be seated, at least have a coffee while you wait, and maybe you can order off the menu? And very kind. And so I said, okay. So I ended up sitting there. I ate alone. I left alone. Never met that gentleman. And I just thought it was humiliating and it was cruel. And I thought to myself, why would somebody want to do that to another person? Why would you do that? I had to drive 2 hours round trip to go to that, to meet this supposed guy. I don't even know, like maybe he wasn't even from the area. I don't know. He said he was. Like, and he seemed to know the restaurant, the city, in the city that I was supposed to meet him in. I don't know. But anyway, I did what any red-blooded woman would do who has been humiliated like that. And I went to the thrift store and went shopping. On a budget at the thrift store. Anyway, those are my 6 dating disasters. I know it could have been a whole lot worse. I could have gotten taken for a bunch of money right off the bat from that scammer. And a lot of women do fall for that. And so I was very fortunate in many ways. And it taught me a lot, taught me a lesson not to ever, ever, ever online date again. Also, I just want to say, if you have had experience with online dating, whether it's been positive or negative, I would sure love it if you would comment. I don't have a lot of engagement on my channel, so that's the whole reason I'm doing this. I want to engage with you. So I just ask that you would send me a comment. Let's get a conversation going and tell me about your experiences with online dating, or maybe you've never online dated and you're wondering about it. Any tips or tricks that you might have, or ways to stay safe online, just different things like that we could, get a conversation going. Also, do like and subscribe if you like this content, and if you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back, and we'll see you again. Bye-bye.